I would say I would want to live by a mountain if it wasn't for, you know, the roads. Maybe in a more walkable country, I would want to live by a mountain. If they had like, wow, that's not good. If they had like a good walkable area so that you could quickly like traverse near it without having to drive these windy ass tall roads. Yeah, actually the first time I ever saw a mountain, I was driving through a mountain in winter, driving over a mountain across multiple states, and I got frozen in fucking Hotel California style. Like shit was crazy. It was a very, you could check out anytime you like, but you could never leave situation. Actually, I don't know if I've ever told this story before, but I'll tell you. This was a wild one. So I was in Elysia, America at the time. This was not in the Badlands. I was in Elysia, America, and I was driving from. It was like a 16-hour or like a 30-hour. It was a really long drive. I just remember it was really long. It was pretty far away, and I drove through a city called. Was I going to a convention? I don't remember what I was going to do, but don't worry about it. Anyway, I drove through a city called Gatlinburg, and if you know where that is, that's fine, whatever, that's cool. I didn't live there, so it's not really like doxing or anything, but it's this like town I did not know existed up in the mountains near, what is that fucking state called? Shit, what is that state called? God, I'm bad at geography. Tennessee, thank you, Tennessee. So I drove through Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and I did not know Tennessee had a mountain in the first place. I especially did not know that there was a town up in this mountain. So I'm driving on what I think is a normal road. I go into this city called Gatlinburg, Tennessee, and as I go in, there's a bunch of signs and warnings. And it's like a fucking Silent Hill game, right? Like it's pitch black. There's literally no one else on the roads. I've been going for like 3 hours without ever seeing a single soul up here. So I'm like, oh, I maybe shouldn't be on these roads. This might be bad. And as I'm traveling, I'm seeing all these warning signs about freezes and stuff, and I'm like, well, it's probably fine. I'll just quickly get over this mountain. I'll get through this town. I'll go at the other end. I get to the road on the far side of town, and it's closed. I'm like, what? It's like the road down the mountain has been completely closed. I'm like, well, how do I get down? And then I'm like Google Mapsing and trying to figure out how I can get down, and basically every road out of town is closed. There's no way to leave other than the way I came, and I can't go back the way I came because, well, that would be reverse progress, and that's not going to help me. So I'm like, okay, I guess. I got frozen into this random town up here in the mountains, and what's crazy is it looked like an abandoned theme park. Like Gatlinburg, if you've ever been there, and again, you got to look at this from the perspective of somebody who did not know this existed. It's like a tourist town, I guess, and it's got all these like fucking buildings with like big clown faces on the front and like Ferris wheels and like lights everywhere. It looks like you're in Las Vegas, except you're in a frozen fucking hellscape up in the mountains, so it doesn't make sense that it's there. It's like someone took a theme park and set it in a mountain town in the middle of nowhere. So obviously you're confused because you're like, what? Why is this here? What sense does this make? And I drive through this abandoned ass town with not a single soul on the streets, which if you, wow, I almost died. If you know anything about theme parks, even at night, there should be someone wandering around in a town like this if it's a tourist town, but there was nothing, no one. It was completely dead. It looked like a scene from Fallout or something, like I came across some defunct land type shit. And I'm like, well, I guess I got snowed in. I go to sleep in the only hotel I could find that's open. Literally, I go to 3 different like hotels and motels, like, no, we're booked up, we can't. I'm like, holy shit. And at this point, I'm panicking a little bit. I'm like, well, I guess I'll just sleep in my fucking car. This sucks, but I'll do it. And then finally I find one. It's like 2 a.m. and they're like, we've got one spot for you. I was like, okay, I'll take it, whatever you got. So I go there and I stay there, and that's cool. Thankfully, from the kindness of my parents wiring me some fucking money because I didn't have any, they were able to like loan me like a few, like $50 or some shit because I was too poor at the point to even rent a room. But I stay. I wake up in the morning and I look out my window, and I don't know how I didn't know this. I guess because it was the middle of the night. I had gone into some sort of old town style district, right? I look out my window and it's like down on the streets is like this old timey looking, like for sort of like 1860s looking road with like barrels in the streets and like hanging lanterns and shit. And people are just walking around and eating breakfast, and suddenly the streets are full. I was like, did I have a fucking fever dream? I'm in this empty, abandoned theme park wasteland. I wake up and I'm in like a fucking frontier town with like wooden structures and barrels and shit in the streets, and suddenly there's a ton of people walking around enjoying like pancakes and crepes and shit while they wander, pushing baby carriages. I'm like, where am I? So I, of course, in a stupor, go down. I'm like, hey, is there an event going on today? To the reception lady, she's like, no, this is just kind of a tourist town. I was like, oh, okay. So I go stumble around the streets like a drunkard, confused out of my fucking mind, because I'm like, why is this like this? And I just wander around this fucking old frontier town looking area through all these stupid ass tourist shops. I go to a nice coffee place and have some breakfast. I'm like, this is kind of charming when it's not an abandoned, spooky, haunted ghost theme park at night, frozen in where you can't leave. Anyway, I left later that day, but I was like, that was one of the weirdest experiences I've had. That was the first time I'd ever been in a mountain. It was so disorienting. I thought I hit my head. I thought maybe I was like, I don't know, having a weird, like, I thought maybe I was having my first ever, what's it called when you have a dream where you can, like, where it feels so real that you're convinced it's real for a while? Know what I'm talking about? Lucid. I thought I was having my first ever lucid dream.
See